Welcome to Programming for Kids with Scratch 2. I'm Mike Lehman, and thanks for joining me. This series of half-hour shows uses Scratch to introduce computer programming to kids, about 5th grade and up, and curious adults too. You'll learn all about programming in Scratch in this series. It covers loop blocks, repeat, repeat until and forever, decision blocks including if and if else, procedure blocks, variables, lists, messages, events, clones, even microphone and video webcam input. I'll create many programs including games, storytelling, drawing pictures, and programs that demonstrate important programming concepts including objects, threads, and polling. This series is all about doing and shows the creation of all working programs from start to finish. Scratch is a great first programming language and can have children very quickly creating and presenting stories and creating fun animations, all while learning valuable critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, and the fundamentals of programming without any of the confusing and detailed syntax. Scratch presents programming commands as single blocks that are easily snapped together to make programs with very little typing. Don't let the ease of Scratch fool you into thinking that there's little here. Scratch programs can do a lot of things. Very little math is needed to make fun programs, and I give the very few equations that I'll use in a handful of about 50 challenges. Scratch is free and freely available from the highly regarded university MIT. With your web browser, you can create, share, and save your Scratch programs if you want to. You can also look online at literally millions of shared Scratch programs, and if you like, you can join the Scratch community. You can just sit back and watch this show, or you can go to scratch.mit.edu, click on the Try It Out icon, and have fun learning how to program too. All of these video challenge lessons and more are available at my ProgrammingForKids.info website and at my ProgrammingForKids.info YouTube channel. The countdown timer at the bottom of the screen shows how long until a program is first run. This show number 2 introduces loops with 4 examples, introduces Cartesian coordinates for sprite positions on the stage, and shows the say block without a time limit. I'll get started. This challenge is an introduction to loops. There are 4 examples with increasing difficulty, including loops and loops. I'll make loops to move the sprite on a stage and change the sprite's color, then finish with loops to play piano and drum. I'll go through the first couple of examples in a lot of detail. First, I'll need a couple commands for my loop. I'll go to the Looks palette, get the Say command, and the Think command. The Say command displays the message for the given number of seconds. When I click on this, hello is displayed for 2 seconds and disappears. One more time, hello for 2 seconds and disappears. Notice I didn't get any sound. I'll play with sounds very shortly. The Think command is very similar to the Say command. The Think command displays the message in a bubble for the given number of seconds. When I click on Think, it displays for 2 seconds in a bubble and disappears. One more time, for 2 seconds and disappears. Keep in mind Scratch has help information for all the commands. When I click on the block Help, the cursor changes to a question mark. Click on a command block and the help appears on the right. Displays the information about the command, an example with animation, along with additional information about the command. I can do the same thing for the Think block. Block Help, Think. I get a description of the command, an example with animation, and additional information about the command. I can also look at information about all the commands, click on All Tips, and from here I can look at the information about any of the commands. I'm finished, so I'll click on the X to close it. Now back to my example. I want to run Think 3 times. I can get a Think a couple more times. Click on it. It displays for 6 seconds, but I can't tell when a command ends and when a command begins. It's easy to get past that. Click on the Control palette. I'll use the Wait command in between the commands. Now it'll think for 2 seconds and wait, think for 2 seconds and wait, think for 2 seconds. I'll click on it. Displays for 2 seconds and waits, for 2 seconds and waits, for 2 seconds and finished. I don't have to have 3 copies of the Think command to get it to run 3 times. I'll break this off, get rid of it. I'll use the repeat loop. Notice how the repeat loop opens around the commands. Drop it. Now they're all together. I'll change the 10 to a 3. 3. When I click on the repeat loop, it'll think for 2 seconds and wait and do this 3 times. I'll do that. Think for 2 seconds and wait. Second time. Think for 2 seconds and wait. Third time. Think for 2 seconds, wait, and it's finished. To make it a little bit easier to see when the loop begins and ends, I'll put say blocks at the beginning and the end. Copy the say, add it to the end, bring this one to the beginning. I'll change the say at the end to say bye instead of hello. Finally, to run my program, I'll go to Events and get when the green flag is clicked Event Handler. Now when I click on the green flag, the commands will run. Say hello for 2 seconds. Now think for 2 seconds and wait. Second time, think for 2 seconds and wait. Third time, think for 2 seconds and wait. Comes out, it runs by, it's done. I'm finished with the blocks in this example now. I'd like to save them. I'll shrink the stage, break them off, put them over on the side, put the stage back to its regular size, and I'm ready for my next example. For this example, I want to change the cat's costume. I'll click on the Costumes tab. I can see the cat has 2 costumes, Costume 1 and Costume 2. Notice that the costumes have numbers 1 and 2 also. If I click on the different costumes, it looks like the cat is hopping or skipping along. I can do the same thing from the scripts. Back to the scripts area, go to the Looks palette. Here's the next costume command. When I click on next costume, the cat's costume changes. Keep clicking on it, and it keeps changing. Instead of a bunch of clicks, I can use the repeat command. I'll change the 10 to a 4. And to make it a little more interesting, go to Motion. How about Move? I'll use Move, change the 10 to 2, 5, 25. This will repeat next costume and move 4 times. That'll go pretty quickly. Go to the Control palette, get a wait command. I'll change the 1 to a 3 for 3 seconds. Attach it. Now it's ready to run. I'll click on the green flag, get the next costume, move wait. Second time next costume, move waiting. Third time next costume, move waiting. And the last time next costume, move waiting. And finished. To make it a little bit easier to see when it's finished, I'll go to the Sound palette. And at the end, I'll have the cat make a meow sound. This will play the meow sound after it's done, then it'll be ready to perform any commands that were after it. I'll move the cat back to the middle, click on the green flag, see the next costume, move and wait. Second time waiting, third time waiting, and the last time waiting. And the meow sound and done. I'm finished with this example. I want to save the commands. I'll shrink the stage, break them off, drop them on the end, get the stage back to the regular size. I'll move the cat back to the middle. Now I'm ready for the next example. I want to change the cat's color. Go to the Looks palette. I can get the Change Color effect. The Change effect changes different kinds of effects. I'll use color for now. I'll look at the other effects and other challenges. When I click on Change Color effect, the cat's color changes. I'll click on it a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. Now the cat's back to its original color. I can use a loop to do that. Go to Control, repeat. That was 8 clicks. I'll change the 10 to an 8. And to slow it down a little bit, I'll add a wait. To make it a little more interesting, I'll add a move after all of that. Change the 10 to a 25. Attach it. Now it's ready for the green flag. I'll click on the green flag. It'll change the color every second, 8 times. Keeps going back around. Then moves 25 steps. Now the cat's back to the original color. If I wanted to, I could do all of this a couple more times. Go to the Control palette, get the repeat loop, watch the jaws open around all of it, see the white highlight, I'll drop it in, change the 10 to a 2. So now for 2 times it'll cycle through the cat's colors and move. So it'll change the cat's color and move, and change the cat's color and move. I'll click on the green flag, changing the cat's color for the first loop inside, coming back to the original color, then move. Second time, changing the cat's color, move, and it's finished. I'm finished with these command blocks. I'll save them with the other ones, break it off, drop it over, get the stage back to the original size, and I'm ready for my final example. For this last example, I like to play a little melody. Click on the sound palette. I'll get the play note command. The play note command plays the note for the number of beats. The beat is determined by the tempo. Here's the set tempo command. I'll add it. Right now the tempo is set to 60 beats per minute. To make this a little bit easier, I'll change the half beat to 1. 1 beat will play for 1 second when the tempo is at 60. I'll attach it and run it. I hear the note for a second. I can make it play a little faster. Click on the 60 in the set tempo command, and I'll change it to 100, 100. Now when I click on the green flag, it plays a little faster. Now I want to make my melody. I'll copy play note, copy it again so I have 4. When I copy from here, it copies the next 3 notes from the bottom, duplicate. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now for my melody, well, I have a C. I'll make the next one an E. Then I'll make a G. After the G, a high C. After the high C, I'll go back down, play an A. Next one, go back down to an E. And I'll leave this at C. When I play it, okay, that was 7 beats. I'll change 69 to A. I'll change it to 2 beats. And I want to play this 3 times. I'll go to the control palette, repeat loop, jaws open around the blocks. Now my melody's inside the loop. Change the 10 to a 3. It's ready to play. I'll click on the green flag. 1, 2. Second time. Last time. And finished. I want to add a little ending to that. I'll copy 3 notes, duplicate. I have 8 beats up here. 2. I'll change this one to 2. That's 4. I'll change the last one to 4, so that'll give me 8. I'll change the melody a little bit here. Back down to middle C. I'll drop down A here. Go back up a little above middle C. How about here? Then middle C. Now I'll try my song. Second time. Third time. And out. 3, 4. I like that. I'll repeat it a second time. Get a repeat loop. Jaws open up. Drop it. Now it'll play the melody 10 times, but I want 2 times. Click on the 10, 2. Now when I run it, it'll play my melody twice. Click on the green flag. Second time. Last time. End. Now one more time. First time in the inner loop. Second time. And finished. I'll save this. Now I'll play with the drum. Back to the sound palette. Play drum. Beats can get a little confusing. Beats refers to the tempo, not the drum beat, just as beats refer to tempo in the play note block. I'll change the quarter to 1. Get a few more drum beats. Duplicate. Duplicate, I want 5. I'll do that. I have 5 beats here. I want as many beats in the tempo as I have in the inner loop of my melody where I have 8. Change the 1 to 2. Next one to 2. How about the last one? Now I have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 beats, just as many beats as in the inner loop, so the drum playing will be just as long as the inner loop. I'll play it. 1, 1, 1, 2, and it's finished. I want to play it 3 times. Repeat. Change the 10 to a 3. Same as the melody. Duplicate. Change this rhythm a little bit. Change the first 2 to a 1. Keep it at 8. I'll change this 1 to a 2. Don't get worried about all the beats. Just trying to show a nice example with a melody and drum. I'll attach it to the green flag. To make this play as long as the melody plays, I'll need an outer loop. Repeat, 2. Change the 10 to a 2. They also play as long as the melody does. To show something a little more interesting, I'll move the tempo out of the way. Back to events. Get another event handler for when the green flag's clicked. When I click on the green flag, both of these event handlers will start at the same time. The drum will play at the same time as the piano. Tempo's already been set to 100. I'll talk about initialization and other challenges. I'll click the green flag to play the melody. Second time. Third time. Now the second time for all of it. Now I'm looking at the drum. Second time. Third time. Out. I'm finished with the 4 examples now. Don't worry if the piano and drum example is too tricky right now. You don't need to fully understand it to continue the scratch challenges, but it is important you get experience playing with the loops. I encourage you to work with the examples and understand how a loop works. In a future challenge, I'll have more repeat examples, and I'll explore the forever loop and the repeat until loop. Have fun with the examples. In this challenge, I'll introduce Cartesian coordinates. They define all the locations on the stage. If they're new to you, don't worry. You don't have to understand Cartesian coordinates to move sprites on the stage, but it helps. It's very common to move sprites on the stage with the move and turn command blocks and not have to use Cartesian coordinates. First, I'll show the locations on the stage. I'll go to Stage, choose Backdrop from Library, Other, double-click on the XY grid. I'll move the cat a little bit over. The grid shows the different locations on the stage. I'll go back to Scripts. I can use Go to XY to go to a unique location on the stage. I'll go to my diagram. The stage is 480 units across and 360 units up and down. There are 2 number lines, or axes. The x-axis goes left and right. 0 is at the center. As the x value gets larger, the location is further to the right, and as the x value gets smaller, the location is further to the left. The y-axis goes up and down. 0 is at the center. As the y value gets larger, the location is further up, and as the y value gets smaller, the location is further down. Knowing both the x and y values give a unique location anywhere on the stage. The x value of 0 is in the center, positive x values are on the right half, and negative x values are on the left half. These go-to blocks will place the sprite along the center line across the stage because all the y values are 0. Go to -240 and 0, be the leftmost part on the stage. Then moving to the right, go to -200 and 0, goes here. Go to -100 and 0, goes here. Go to 0, 0, goes here in the center. Go to 100 and 0, goes here. Go to 200 and 0, goes here. Go to 240 and 0, goes on the right edge. As the x value gets larger, the sprite is placed further and further to the right, and as the x value gets smaller, the sprite is placed further and further to the left. The y-axis is similar to the x-axis, except the y-axis goes up and down instead of right and left. The y value of 0 is in the center, positive y values are on the top half, and negative y values are on the bottom half of the stage. These go-to blocks will place the sprite along the center line up and down the stage because all these x values are 0. Go to 0 and minus 180 is here. Go to 0 and minus 100 is here. Go to 0 and 0 is here. Go to 0, 100 is here. And go to 0 and 180 is here. As the y value gets larger, the sprite is placed higher and higher up on the stage. And as the y value gets smaller, the sprite is placed lower and lower down on the stage. Here are some locations on the right half of the stage. Positive x values are on the right half. Go to 200, 100. Go to 100, 100. Go to 100 minus 100. And go to 200 minus 100. Negative x values are on the left side of the stage. Go to minus 200, 100. Go to minus 100, 100. Go to minus 100, minus 100. Go to minus 200, minus 100. Looking at the x values, I have x is minus 200, x is minus 100, x is 100, and x is 200. And the y values, y is minus 100 for all four of these, and y is positive 100 for these four. I'll go back to Scratch for a few examples. Again, don't worry if this seems too difficult. You can create many programs in Scratch without using Cartesian coordinates. It's very common to use the move and turn command blocks. I'll start with the cat at 200, 100, have it move to minus 200, 100, then minus 200, minus 100, then 200, minus 100, and back to 200, 100. Okay, go to 200, 100. It'll be more interesting with glides. Glide is like move, but it takes amount of time and an XY location. I'll have it take 4 seconds instead of 1. Move to minus 200, 100. That's the upper left. I'll copy it, duplicate. Now for minus 200, minus 100. Duplicate. Then have the cat glide to 200 minus 100. Remove the minus sign. Then back to 200, 100. Duplicate. Remove the minus sign. I want this to start when the green flag is clicked. Events, when the green flag's clicked. When the green flag is clicked, the cat will go to 200, 100. Then it'll glide to minus 200, 100. Then it'll glide to minus 200, minus 100. Then it'll glide to 200, minus 100. Then it'll glide back to 200, 100. I'll run it now. Click on the green flag. Move to 200, 100, gliding to minus 200, 100. Gliding down to minus 200, minus 100, gliding to 200, minus 100, gliding back up to 200, 100. The program's finished. I'm finished with this challenge. I encourage you to play with this program and get comfortable with Cartesian coordinates. You don't have to understand them to have lots of fun with Scratch, but understanding them will let you do even more things in Scratch. Try changing the program. Rearrange the glide blocks into different sequences and see whether the cat sprite moves around the stage as you thought it would. If you're still having troubles understanding this and want more help, search for Cartesian Coordinates on the web. There are many math resource websites available. But above all, have fun with the program. This is a Pico challenge, and this is Pico. A Pico is 1/1,000,000th. That's 10 to the negative 12. 12 zeros. A Pico is a very small number, so this will be a very short challenge. I've already used the say command block with a time limit to display a message for only a few seconds. The say command block without a time limit will not stop displaying its message, but an empty say command block will stop displaying any messages. I'll go to Scratch and show this now. This is a Pico challenge, so I'll delete the cat. Right-click, delete. Go to New Sprite, Fantasy, double-click on Pico. Now I have my Pico sprite. I'll go to Looks, Say. I want to do this when a green flag is clicked. Events. When a green flag is clicked. It's ready to run. Click on the green flag. Pico says hello. I can use an empty say to stop showing the message when Pico's clicked on. When the sprite is clicked on, right-click, duplicate, click on it, delete. It's ready to run. I'll stop it, start it again. It's saying hello. I'll click on Pico. The message disappears. When I clicked on Pico, the empty say was run and it removed the message. I'll go back to Looks. The think command behaves the same way. Click on think. It shows Right-click, duplicate. Remove the text with a delete key. Run it. It stops displaying the think message. I'm finished with this challenge. I encourage you to play with the program and get comfortable with the say commands, the think commands, the event handler for the when the green flag is clicked, and the event handler for when the sprite is clicked on. But above all, have fun with it. I'm glad you could join me. You can review these and all of my challenges at my programmingforkids.info website and on my programmingforkids.info YouTube channel. I encourage you to try the things you've just learned and explore the extra challenges I've suggested. I hope you can join me for the other shows. Until next time, have fun being creative.